And now it is my pleasure to introduce a bold woman that was in the very first class that I, quote unquote, accepted as a first-year student into Bay Path College, Kouren Delgado. We go back a long way to 1995, and she reflects your future. She reflects what you can become, and I am just so proud to share a bit of her history, and then she will share her story with you. Kouren Delgado was raised in Springfield, Massachusetts, the youngest of 3 children, born to parents of Puerto Rican descent. She went to Central High School and graduated. And during those years in high school, she developed a very strong interest in arts, creative writing, and psychology. Then she came to Bay Path to pursue her degree in psychology. She achieved Dean's List status and eventually was inducted into the Maroon Key Honor Society, Bay Path's highest academic recognition. Here's how I got to know Kouren very well. We traveled on the second Capitals of the World trip to London, England. And she was there with Daisy, her best friend, and they roomed together, and Noel and I were always trying to find out where were these 2 women. But we traveled, and I think on that trip there was a bond that was formed. She eventually graduated from Bay Path. But here is her story. After graduation, she went on to work in the mental health field with various organizations, including Bay State Health Systems and Boston Medical Center HealthNet. It was during her time with BMC HealthNet that she began to think about ways of combining her lifelong love of animals with alternative methods of health care and therapy. So after some research, she enrolled in a program at the University of Denver and earned a certificate in animals and human health social work. Then in 2001, she began working with the Western Massachusetts nationally accredited Child Advocacy Center, the Family Advocacy Center here in our region, as a forensic social worker. In that role, she provides resources and support for families affected by child abuse and other trauma. As a member of the multidisciplinary interview team, she routinely works with the various agencies, including the Hampden County District Attorney's Office, the Department of Children and Families, and many local, state, and regional law enforcement agencies. But she has plans for her future. In 2014, she plans to expand her educational and career goals by pursuing a Master of Science degree in Health Communications with Boston University, my alma mater. So our paths cross once more. She continues to live in Springfield, and I know her father is here today. She continues to live in Springfield, but she has wanderlust. She would like to someday live in either Washington, D.C. or London, England. It is an honor to introduce to you a graduate of Bay Path that we are very proud of, Kouren Delgado.
She made me sound really, really good, so I'm going to try to live up to that. I'm going to start off by saying that I had about 100 different speeches written for this day today. I was very nervous trying to figure out what am I going to say to inspire all of you guys today. So I scrapped every single draft that I wrote, and I figured that you guys would get more if I spoke to you directly. So that's what I'm going to do today. First, I'd like to thank President Leary, the entire staff at Bay Path for allowing me to do this today. It's truly, for me, an honor to be here. I never, in a million years, thought I would be here today. one of the things I probably should mention to the freshman class is that if your professors tell you to take a public speaking course, you might want to take it. Because someone told me to do it and I didn't, thinking I'll never need that. And I do. So, so just take that. But my journey started in high school. I was told in high school by a school counselor that I would never get to college. That's not something that you think you're going to hear when you walk into the counselor's office, but they said, you're not going to make it. You don't have the grades. There's nothing about you that makes you a candidate for college. So I walked out of that counselor's office thinking, I'm going to prove him wrong. That's bold for me. It started there. I'm going to prove him wrong, and I'm not only going to do it, I'm going to do it in a big way. I'm going to make sure that they know that I did it and I did it well. So I worked really hard the next day. I was an average student. I wasn't a part of any clubs. I wasn't most popular. I wasn't anything like that. It was just me. So I said, I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to do as best I can on my grades, and I did. And thankfully, I had that acceptance letter from Bay Path, and they said, we're going to take a chance on you. So I said, sounds good. I'm gonna make it happen. I came here never having lived in Springfield for 18 years, never had been to Longmeadow. So when I drove up here, I remember thinking, where the hell am I? It looked like a fantasy world to me. Everything looked clean, and there were these beautiful trees, and everything was majestic to me. So I thought, wow, this is a lot of pressure. So I came and I started with my friend Daisy, who came in and was part of the freshman class as well. And unfortunately for me, I think I had a chip on my shoulder. After being told, you're never going to make it, you're never going to do it, I came here thinking, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. Unfortunately, being bold sometimes doesn't follow the path that it should. And so for me, it created a chip on my shoulder, and I'm going to prove people wrong, and I'm going to be an individual, and I'm not going to be a part of anything, because it's like America's Next Top Model. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here for me. So so that was kind of what I was doing. And thankfully, initially that kind of held on for a little bit. Did well in a couple of classes, and then I think what ended up happening to me was the Capitals of the World Tour happened. I think it was 1997, and I said, well, I want to really do this, and a couple of teachers had talked to me, you should really get into these clubs, and you should participate a little bit more. I was always in the back of the class and didn't want to be a part of anything. So when the Capitals of the World Tour came about, I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm sure it'll be fun. So again, grabbed my friend Daisy, said, let's go, we're doing this. And we did. And that trip changed my life. I'd never been outside of the country before other than Puerto Rico. And when we went to England, it was this eye-opening experience. Probably is the best thing that ever happened to me at the school. So I want to thank Professor Larry for making this an opportunity for us and letting us have that time to experience something different. When I went down to London, it was a different world. People looked different. People sounded different. Everything was just unique. And when I came to Bay Path, one of the things that I noticed was part of that chip on my shoulder was because I didn't look like anybody else. Most of the students here were Caucasian. I was not. I could probably count on one hand the people that looked like me here. And when I went to England, there was this diversity there. Everyone was different. Everyone looked different. So I embraced it. Instead of kind of having that attitude like, oh no, I'm not like you, and I'm not going to do what you do because I don't want to fit into your clique. It was more about, I'm going to accept who I am, and I'm going to bring that to these people, and if they choose to accept it, then that's great. So I came back, needless to say, a changed person from that trip. I embraced things at Bay Path after that. I looked forward to all the different events that were happening at the school. I took part in things. I had a different outlook on what my life was going to be. So I want to thank the school for that. You know, and I also want to thank them for doing something that maybe a lot of the seniors had to go through already, which is having to do presentations. I hated those presentations. I had to do a presentation for every class. I had to do 2 presentations, 3 presentations. I hated it. And then I got so good at it that I was like, this is great. I wanted to go first. I wanted to be that first person so that everybody else I was the standard now. So that's the secret. Go first. Just letting you know. So I was the first person. I was the one doing the presentations. And the key to being bold, you're not going to be bold just to be bold. That's not going to work. You have to be bold and have the knowledge to back it up. The research. You have to have done your homework. You can't just go out there and say, I'm just going to showboat, and I have nothing to back it up, because it's going to show eventually. So when I knew the material, I knew, okay, I've got this material, I'm going to present it. How do I want to engage you. I want people to see me and say, wow, her presentation was great. So I just kept taking it to the next level. One of my presentations, I will remember that it was part of a criminal justice course. And we had to talk about a crime that was committed in a case that maybe was unsolved or went to court. So I picked a case of the Black Dahlia. And before the actual class, I asked my friend, could you go to the classroom, lay on the table? I'm going to put a sheet over you that looks like it's blood splattered. I'm going to close the door, shut the lights off, and I'm going to let the class come in. So when everyone walked in, they saw a hand sticking out of the table, and everyone's like, what the hell is this going on here? And I said, it was impact. I wanted to make a statement. I wanted you to feel that angst, that being scared. But why? Because I had the information to back it up. So I'm going to advise the freshmen, think outside the box when you do a presentation. Think outside the box when you have to talk. Think outside the box. There is no right. There is no wrong answer. Bay Path is your time to experiment, get comfortable, make it your own. If people think you're crazy, then hey, they think you're crazy. But this is your time to do it. So just go for it. Go all out. Make people talk about you. For the seniors, when you get into the workforce, it's not going to be as easy. You're going to feel that pressure like you're the newbie. You're the one that everybody looks at. Oh, she's out of college. She doesn't know anything. That's when you have to start proving people wrong. And that's when your boldness has to take flight. You're going to have to, bold is not easy. You're going to have conviction. You have to have courage and a passion to stand up for what you want and what you believe in. And sometimes you're all out there by yourself. I've been there. I've had people completely disagree with me, and I've stood my ground for what I believed in. And sometimes it doesn't work out. So bold doesn't always mean successful, but it means that you stood your ground. You're authentic, and that's part of the Bay Path way, is to be authentic, be true to yourself. Because once you're true to yourself, everything that you do afterwards is golden. Many of you signed the honor pledge today. And when I was here back in '95, almost 20 years ago, I did not have to sign this pledge. But ironically, our professors and our faculty taught us the way. So I feel like, in a way, I did sign this pledge. And I'm just going to take a moment and read it to you. It's, as a Bay Path College student, I will honor myself and my fellow students. In making this commitment, I will act with honesty, integrity, and respect, and will take responsibility for my actions. So just remember that as you go out into the world. Remember that you have to be authentic. Respectful is very key. Be classy about it. Just because you want to be bold doesn't mean that you have to be harsh, or you don't have to be brash, or you don't have to disrespect anyone else. You hold true to who you are. The last thing I'm going to let you know is that it's hard. I would be lying if I said that going out into the world was easy. With your college degree, you've got a mound of debt behind you, you have people depending on you, some of you. It's not easy. But the senior class has done it. You guys are here. You're done. You've got this. So you just got to take that next step. Freshmen, it's going to be a long road, but you guys are going to be able to do it. You're here now. It's a huge step. Look at me. I wasn't supposed to be here. And maybe at some point you guys will be in my place and you'll be doing the speech at some point. So release your limitations. The sky is really the limit. And embrace everything that Bay Path has to give you. I fought it, but I eventually accepted it. And I learned that they were just trying to help me, and they were trying to help me flourish as a student, as a person. And I want the same for you. So thank you for your time today, and good luck.